Hi, Janet Kelsey here with The Real Deal. My husband Phil and I have been bidding and participating in the Courthouse foreclosure sales for many years. In this 3-part video series, we are going to start you at square one. Phil is going to talk about how we zero in on the right property on the county foreclosure list to bid on and to avoid losses and other major headaches. This is a 3-part discussion, so be sure to watch each one. So here is Phil to start the discussion.
You might, regardless, you want to be aware that who the plaintiff is, and I would probably encourage you right now, in order to keep your risk manageable, to avoid sales where the owners association is actually bringing the foreclosure. Moving on, not on the spreadsheet that I'm showing you, but certainly part of it, we've talked about the actual entity that's being foreclosed on, and I am looking at estates as being the preference. So there are 3 different types of, or multiple types of defendants that you might find on a case. And again, at this level, we're just looking at a single line that we receive from the clerk of the court's future sales list. So we'll dive into more in depth on who the defendants are. But looking at the defendant, who the defendant named is, you have a couple different types. Again, you might have an individual, a living person that that is being foreclosed on, and similarly, or you might have a business that is being foreclosed on, or you might have an owners association again that they're being foreclosed on because perhaps in the prior foreclosure that they underwent, they end up owning the property and the bank's foreclosing on them. Generally they won't be in the first position, the first defendant position, but they might. And then the fourth is that an estate is being foreclosed on. And I generally, if it's an individual, I'm not saying I wouldn't foreclose if it's an individual, because if you check out the property and drive by the property, you may find that yes, an individual is being foreclosed on, a living person is being foreclosed on, but they've long since left. If they're there, if you drive the property and it's clear that either they're there or their tenant or a tenant is there, realize you're going to have a little bit more effort put into removing them from the property, possibly, and there's also a greater risk that they're going to make some contest to the sale after you put your money down, after the auction has occurred. So I'm not by any means saying that you should not bid if the defendant is a living person. I'm just saying it adds a touch more to the risk. Condo associations and owners associations and businesses that might be the defendant, it's just kind of case by case. It's an oddball thing. If the business is anything other than something that looks like they might be an aggressive, I don't know if I'd want to foreclose if the defendant is a law firm, or if the defendant is ABC Real Estate Holding Company, because I would consider those people to be more savvy in their ability to bring a defense. And again, if they bring a defense and post the auction and I put my money down prior to my getting a sale, I lose money. The last one that is by favor, but it only occurs about maybe 10 or 20% of the time, is an estate sale. And this is when the owner has passed away and it's gone through probate. Now, I'm not a probate expert, so if you have questions on probate, you want to consult your attorney. But basically, my thoughts are that if it is in an estate and it makes it to the auction, it means that none of the heirs felt from a financial standpoint that they wanted to assume or otherwise take on the mortgage or refinance and purchase the property. And that kind of occurs with properties perhaps from the elderly that they get older, the properties fall in a state of disrepair. There's deferred maintenance. I purchased one, these reverse mortgages. I purchased one with a reverse mortgage, and it was a good deal, but I think the mindset is with these reverse mortgages that it's engineered such that when the person dies, that they've actually determined that they will have used up most of their equity. Or if they're going to use up most of their equity, they're not intending on transferring any of the equity to the heir, so they're probably not making, they're probably deferring a lot of the maintenance, so roofs, air conditioners, and such. So that does stand out. But I feel, looking at the data and again looking at large number of sales, I've never seen an estate overturn a sale. I'm looking at a property right now where one of the heirs is living in the property and has declared bankruptcy a couple times, or suggestion of bankruptcy, has begun the process of bankruptcy a couple times, and that has stopped the sale, but the property has not gone up for sale. And it's interesting that this was an heir, actually a sibling of the deceased, and they're able to file suggesting bankruptcy and stop the sale. But generally, my preference is for estates, but that would only lower my risk assessment of the property, and I don't think that I would avoid. So that's where I would get preference. If the property is an individual, I would not preclude me from bidding. The next item that you want to look at, and I don't know if this will be in your jurisdiction, but in my jurisdiction, they have what's called Plaintiff Max. And basically what that is that the bank or whoever's bringing the case can state on the clerk's website or on the foreclosure list, can state on the sales list the maximum amount that they intend to bid on the property. And it kind of posts notification to everyone that you have to at least bid this amount, or they are going to, it's kind of a waste of time that they're going to bid it up to that. They can state that maximum bid at any time, even a minute before the sale from my perspective, and they do, and it can waste a lot of your time if you've researched a property, only to find out that the bank then has said that they're going to bid it up to this maximum amount. And many jurisdictions, including my jurisdiction, will call that if you bid on a property and you bid less than the max amount, it's called bidding in bad faith. I see it done regardless, but it's supposed to be penalties and preclude you from possibly making bids on that auction in the future. But if you see the max bid and it's clearly in the stratosphere, then you would probably just go ahead and avoid that sale, because it's not likely going to be that in the final, and when it goes to sale, that the bank is going to take any less than that. If you bid the bank up, it's aggravating to the bank, because then they have to pay court costs on that amount. So if you bid them up when they've already told you they're going to pay this amount for it, and they walk away having to pay court costs, which I think is still the case, and maybe one of our attorney friends can sign in and tell me and confirm that for me. But it's aggravating to the bank, and that's why it's thought to be in bad faith. So if you see the maximum bid and it is greater than what you intend to bid on the property, just go ahead and disregard it. There's no sense looking any further. The next items that we want to look at. So the next item that you would look at, and just for quickly eliminating from a large list, I've set up a flag that tells me if certain words are in the address, such as unit and building or condo. And basically, if you are looking to specifically buy condos, or you don't care the way, you can disregard this. This will flag you that this is a condo. Some people I've noticed, they specialize in buying condos. If you specifically, like me, for purpose of rental, I don't want anything that's in an association. So if it says Owners Association name, I'm going to disregard it because I don't want a property. If it says unit or building or condo or anything that indicates that this is a condominium complex, I go and kick it out because I'm not interested in buying condos at the moment. Although some of the best rentals I've had have been condos, it's just right now I'm not doing that. And it's really up to you. Again, if you prefer to zero in on condos, this is a great time to kind of focus in on that.
So there you go. Try these steps and remember, practice makes perfect. And join us next week or click on the link below for the next video in this series. And remember to like and subscribe so you don't miss our next informative video. I'm Janet Kelsey from The Real Deal. See you real soon.